Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. Today we're reading Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Shut up. Why are you giggling?
Hey, I'm Jess.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
This is Raven.
I'm Raven.
You're like food drunk?
Yeah, and drunk a little too.
What? You had one drink.
I'm not drunk. It's just like the light buzz in my head. Just gave me gin. I don't drink gin.
It was a hard iced tea.
Yeah. And now my brain is fuzzy.
Nice.
Okay. A Game of Thrones. This is the first hour. I just hit myself.
Did you break a nail?
No. Luckily, I've got like 80 layers of polish on, so it's not going to snap any day soon. But look how fucking ugly these are.
Really? I like them.
Really?
Yeah. They're not, like, bad.
Okay, everyone's telling me that my nails look good, but I think they look like crap.
They don't. They look
I don't know. It's just, there's something weird about the color combination with the glitter.
It kind of looks like it should be, like, a leopard print instead of, like, paint splash. Because of the tan color.
Yeah, I just don't like the tan color underneath the glitter, I think. It's like a...
Who chose that?
Pinky beige. Who chose it?
Yeah.
Me, bitch.
Oh.
I did these myself, though. Like, I didn't go to a salon.
You did it yourself?
Yeah.
Those are so good.
Oh, shut up. Keep going. I started watching Simply Nailogical on YouTube, which is...
Oh, shit.
She's got some good nail tips, so...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. This is the best, like, paint job I've ever done, but I don't like the actual, like, how it looks.
Well, you're weird.
But I think I did a good job.
Looks cool.
Oh, thanks. Okay, I guess I'll rock them. Anyway.
They look nice.
Thanks.
And I get compliments on my shitty-ass nail polish when I do wear it.
Oh.
So yours is really nice.
Thanks. I feel like they're kind of... Okay, let's stop talking about nail polish.
No one can see.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start talking about A Game of Thrones.
A Game of Thrones.
So, I just want to start off by saying how much I fucking love this little book of mine.
Well, yeah, your book looks like a Bible.
I'm obsessed with it. It's got, like, the bendy leather cover, and it's, like... I don't know. The pages are super, like, thin.
Bible-like.
Yeah, they're kind of soft. Like, it's...
Man, this reminds me of church every Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. It just gives me life.
It looks like a Bible.
Like, I fucking love it.
Well, mine is like a regular paperback.
Yeah. Yours sucks. Just kidding. I had one like that and I gave it to Mom when I bought this set.
Why the fuck does Mom need one?
She wants to read them. You know what's funny? I literally bought all 5 of the books in the same style as yours.
Yeah.
And then I found this set in Costco for $40. So I bought it.
Damn.
And I was like, fuck, I just bought all of them. So I just gave them to Mom. I know.
Yeah, the receipt, bring them all back to where we got them.
I didn't.
No.
Because I had bought them like over multiple years.
Oh.
And I had just bought the last one.
And then you find this.
And then I found this like 2 days later. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, sure.
We'll do updates the next one. No updates this time. I want to start.
She's too excited. Too excited.
Okay, what are we drinking today, Jess?
Oh, the masala black spice tea again because it was so good last time.
Hell yeah. And I feel like I didn't get to enjoy it as much last time because I was eating like spicy chicken tenders at the same time.
Yeah, you were. You're using it as like a cool down.
Yeah, so it was working more than being enjoyed. I need to shut the fuck up. Tasty. For those who haven't listened to the last episode, maybe go listen to that one because we do talk a little bit about like how this is gonna work in these episodes, but a brief summary, I guess, would be that we each have our own characters.
Yep.
Our own, in quotes, our own characters, which we will have for the duration of the novel.
Yep. Instead of, like, swapping chapters.
Yeah.
We have 4 characters each.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this book is separated, like, the chapters aren't numbered.
No.
They're separated by the character names.
Yeah, it's sexy.
So the narrator jumps between the different characters' perspectives.
8 character perspectives in this novel.
Yes. It's also third person.
Yep.
How did you find reading it and, like, having our own characters? Enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Just nodding.
I was into it. I don't have, like, much thought, but...
You don't have much thought? I got no brains.
I got no brains. But I enjoyed it. I like my characters. I don't know about you.
I felt like a strange kind of connection to them, like, right from the get-go. Just, like, the second I'd see their page, or their name on the page, it'd be
like that.
You mad bitch! You mad bitch! Okay. Quick reminder, who are your characters?
Bran, Catelyn, Sansa, and Tyrion. Oh, and Will.
And Will. Who the fuck is Will?
We'll find out soon enough.
I get it. We'll find out soon enough.
Get it?
And my characters are Daenerys, Jon, Arya, and Eddard. Okay.
Eddard.
Alright, so let's start with you, I
The
suppose.
prologue.
The prologue. Hold on, let me find my notes.
Wait. Something I've noticed is something that I've talked about last weekend with you.
Go on.
It's not something I've ever noticed before in reading books.
Oh.
But the differences in writing is not something. And it's still so mind-boggling. If I'm going from Anne Rice to this, to George.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I feel like there's, in a different way, it's dense in knowledge of the characters. Like, their thoughts and feelings. And there's more into it.
You mean in A Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, you're right. Anne Rice is a lot more...
Scene.
It's sort of poetic, I guess, in a way where it kind
really
of... It makes the reader do a lot of the work.
Yeah.
So you like, the reader has to think, for sure. And I'm not saying that this is, like... The reader doesn't have to think, but you definitely get more of an insight into how the characters
who these guys are.
Yeah.
Who they are.
I've got a lot more to say about characterization after we
Cool.
finish these chapters. But I agree.
So,
The difference is, like, actually astounding, going straight from one to the other.
yeah, like, I was, like, worried I was writing too much, because there's just so much.
Yeah. There's just, yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, sorry, you go ahead.
Prologue. So we come to 3 men in the woods.
Okay, pause. I've already got shit to say. Oh my god!
Damn, pup. Damn.
That dog is so sad.
Yeah, she's very lonely.
She was howling in the last episode, too.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, you could hear it in the episode.
Poor Lex.
Yeah, for those who are wondering, she's fine, but she did just lose her sister, so...
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
It's pretty sad.
Hmm.
We should close this window.
True. So, what's your smack?
Smack? You think I'm about to talk smack?
No.
This book begins with dialogue. The literal first sentence in the book is... We should start back, Garrett urged, as though... Garrett or Jared?
Is it Garrett?
Jared or Jared?
Jared is my first instinct.
Okay, let's say Jared.
But
But it's
now
spelled
I'm
with a G,
confused.
so it's strange. We should start back, Jared urged, as the woods began to grow dark around them. So...
Immediately in the action. You're right in there.
I've already got so much to say.
Oh my god.
So, there is a bit of a debate amongst writers about whether starting with dialogue is a good idea or not.
Huh.
Yeah. Some believe that it's too much of a jarring start for readers, since the reader doesn't know who's talking, can't, like, yet picture the scene.
Sure.
And so on and so forth. Others believe that it's a good way to start in medias res. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Nope.
No, ma'am.
It's actually exactly what you said. It's a creative writing term for in the middle of the action. So, like, getting right into it. Now, personally, I am not a big fan.
Really?
Of starting with dialogue.
I'm the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Throw me in there.
I'm of the opinion that it's too jarring most of the time. At least for me as a reader. Like, everyone's different, obviously, but for me, it's too jarring.
Mm-hmm.
There are some occasions that I think where it does work really well. Those are few and far between, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it does work really well, I think, to get the reader, like, immediately into the story.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, start going, just start flowing.
Like this one? Like this book? Or you're like, meh.
An example of a good one that I can think of off the top of my head is Christine by Stephen King.
Have not read that.
That one starts with dialogue, and
You liked it?
that one worked really well
Ooh.
for me. And this one, it didn't work as well for me. But I'll get into I'll get into why.
Is Christine the book about the car?
Yes.
Okay.
So I can tell that okay, what do we call him? Do we call him George? Do we call him Martin? Do we call him Germ?
Call him, George. Or Mr.
I always
Martin?
feel like it's, like, weirdly disrespectful to call them by their first name only.
Okay.
Even though I've done it 100
Martin.
times. Let's call him Germ.
What the fuck is Germ?
G-R-R-M. George R.R. Martin.
Germ. I'm gonna forget that. Man.
Because Martin is also not easy to say.
Martin?
It doesn't flow.
Martian.
Martian. I'm just gonna fucking call him George. Okay, so I can tell that George tried to make up for the jarring quality of starting with dialogue by immediately referencing the setting right after. Did you notice that? As the woods began to grow dark around them.
Okay.
So he does it immediately after the dialogue, so I could tell right away that he was trying to make up for it. So it was obviously an active choice by George to have dialogue as the first line.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I wouldn't have started with dialogue in this case. I found it jarring, and it doesn't really seem to add anything to the quality of the chapter, in my opinion.
Huh.
But you seem to disagree. I mean, I hate to start with a critique. I feel like such a dick.
Hey.
But you seem
Might
to
as
like
well.
it. What do you like about starting with dialogue in this case specifically?
Personally, I find setting the scene just a little bit boring and hard to get into. Throw me in, they're talking, I'm like, shit, what are they talking about? What's going on? And I'm more intrigued.
Valid.
Thanks.
I think that's completely valid.
I like
valid
my opinions
and completely
being
fair.
validated.
That's completely fair.
Nice.
Yep. Another...
Bro, did you write an essay for this?
Literally one sentence in, and I've got like 8 pages of notes.
Damn.
Okay. I know, people just want to hear what's happening. We'll get to it in a second, I promise. Starting with prologues is actually also a topic of debate. But I don't know much about this argument, honestly, if I'm being real.
What exactly is a prologue again?
A prologue is... Well, you've just read a prologue. What do you think it is?
Oh, fuck. Time for sleeps.
It's like a... It's like an intro to the novel. It usually does not include the main characters.
Yeah.
It's sort of meant to, like, set up the world, I guess. Or, like, kind of... It's often used as a hook for the reader. So they get hooked into the story. But it doesn't always, like, connect really well with the main storyline. So I think prologues are typical in the fantasy genre. So I'm not surprised that there's a prologue.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Inheritance Cycle also starts with a prologue. And that's pretty much the only other fantasy I've ever read. Oh my god, why did I write so many notes?
Damn.
Fucking chill.
Yeah, right.
God, my brain must have been working overtime when I started this book.
Do you like prologues?
Do I like prologues?
How did you feel about this prologue as well?
I'm open to it.
2 questions.
Okay, so I do like this prologue because let's talk about it after the prologue's over.
Let's talk about after?
After the
so we can get through this?
We're going to get into it. I'm so sorry. I'm just excited.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
We come to 3 men in the woods. Jared, Will, and Sir Waymar Royce. Did I say that right?
Waymar?
I sure hope I did. Waymar. Waymar. Waymar.
It's been a while. I forget what the name looks like.
Sir Waymar Royce. Right here.
I just need
Waymar.
to see it. Oh. Waymar.
Is it Waymar or Waymar?
I would say Waymar.
Sir Waymar Royce.
Okay.
Will had informed them that the wildlings they were looking for are dead, and Jared and Sir Royce are arguing about whether they should leave or find what happened to these wildlings.
Right. Wait. He says they're dead, but they don't know what happened to them?
Yeah, because he just spied them from the woods.
Oh, Will
He
saw
didn't
them.
inspect. He just saw them.
Like, saw their dead bodies.
Saw their dead bodies.
Okay.
Watched for a bit, make sure they weren't breathing.
Okay.
Came back.
Got it.
Jared wants to leave. Sir Royce wants to inspect the bodies. Jared points out that there is a long ride back, 8 or 9 days.
Oh my god. See, that, like, stunned me. I did not realize they were
Right?
that far from the wall.
They're far. And it's getting dark.
Yeah.
Sir Royce makes a jab at him. Are you unmanned of the dark?
A what?
Unmanned.
Unmanned by the dark, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I wrote, but I said of.
Okay.
Unmanned by the dark.
Makes sense.
Which is pretty insulting since Jared is over 50 and has been with the Night's Watch for 40 years. Damn, son.
Holy shit.
Damn, son.
So he's way more experienced than
he is
Royce.
the most experienced.
Yeah.
Looking at Jared's facial expression, Will can tell that he's not only pissed, he's really anxious. And Will feels the same way. He's been with the Night's Watch for 4 years. And he is the most skilled ranger that they have.
Will is?
Will.
Even though he's been there for only 4 years?
Yup.
How?
Get this. He used to be a poacher.
A poacher.
Yeah. Before he was caught red-handed. And he was given the choice. Put on the black or lose a hand.
Okay.
So he chooses the black. He's
Solid
their
choice.
very skilled dude. Will is not usually afraid of the woods beyond the wall. But this time, throughout their entire journey, he has felt uneasy as if being watched.
Ooh.
And he knows that Jared had felt the same. However, Sir Royce, I wrote Sir Jared.
Oh, what the fuck?
Sir Royce, who has only been at the Night's Watch for less than 6 months, and he's 18 years old, doesn't seem bothered.
He obviously knows best.
Yeah, he's the knight.
Yeah.
Will doesn't have much respect for the lordling, and recalls Jared making fun of him, like, probably a long time ago with the other brothers.
Jared making fun of Sir Royce?
Yeah, like, making jabs while they're, like, drinking their mead or whatnot. Jared tries to remind Sir Royce that all Mormont?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm stuttering over his name. That all Mormont told them to do was to track the wildlings down, but Sir Royce isn't listening and asks Will to tell him exactly what he saw.
So at this point in the book, we don't know who Mormont is.
Nope. All we know is that he's in charge.
He seems to be in charge. Yeah.
He gave the order. So 2 miles away at the wildling village, he saw a bunch of bodies of men and women put up against rocks.
Ew, creepy.
Yeah. Sir Royce questions Will, who assures him that the wildlings were dead. And then he asks Jared what he thinks happened, and Jared thinks they froze to death. He explains how easy it is to freeze to death up here, and tells him about the body parts that he has lost to frostbite.
Because this is about as far north as you can go in this land.
Sir Royce then suggests for him to dress more warmly. He's not taking it seriously.
What a sassy bitch.
Sir Royce reminds them that the wall is weeping, and Will recognizes that it's not cold enough for grown men to freeze to death.
I love that description. The wall is weeping.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Because the wall's made of ice.
So, like,
it's like melting.
God. I would think it'd be jarring to see it melt, but, like, I guess it's so fucking huge. Like,
yeah.
I can't even comprehend. Sir Royce orders Will to take him to the wildlings. Sometime after the sun sets, Will gets off his horse and says they need to travel on foot now. Sir Royce tells Jared to stay with the horses and draws his long sword. Will tries to tell Sir Royce that his sword is too big and will get tangled in the thicket, but he won't listen. Jared says he will make a fire, but Sir Royce forbids it, saying there might be enemies. Will and Sir Royce head out. Will moves through the thicket quickly and silently, while Sir Royce struggles through, loudly cursing every time his long sword or his cloak gets caught in the branches. When they get there, Will drops to his belly and peers through at the clearing.
Where he had previously seen the dead men.
Yep, where the village is, I presume. Shocked, he finds the bodies are gone.
So, at this point in the text, it says, quote, Will groped for words that did not come, end quote. So I have a bone to pick with Mike Schubert from Potterless.
Right?
Potterless podcast. And anyone else who thinks the word grope is inappropriate in all scenarios. So, for those who are offended by the word grope, fun fact, the main definition of the word grope is to feel about or blindly search for something with your hands.
You know what? Ever since I was a kid, that was my initial thought. That's what it meant. That's what it meant.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Right? Just like...
It has adopted an informal definition of, like, fondling someone sexually.
Yeah, harassment or assault.
Yeah, so yes, language is something that is constantly changing, but in this case, the main definition of the word still fucking stands. And I think it's extremely childish to discourage use of it because of its informal definition, especially in writing.
Damn.
Since writing is typically more formal than talking. Yes, it might be weird to use the word in a casual face-to-face conversation, but not in a novel. So, Mike Schubert.
Damn.
Grow the fuck up, please.
Shots fired. I'm not trying to start fights.
It's like saying people can't use the word daddy anymore. Or,
True.
like, climax.
Daddy has gotten pretty...
Like, kids can still call their dad daddy.
Or can they?
Like, it says more about you than it does about anyone else.
Oh my
if
goodness.
that makes you feel weird. So, that's my rant of the day.
Wow.
Hello, Editing Raven here. Just wanted to say that I do still really like Potterless podcast, and Mike Schubert is really funny and really entertaining, so don't come for me, please.
Thanks.
Here I'm over here starting fires like Sir Jared.
She's like, come at me, bro.
Anyway.
Oh my god. Okay, where am I? Da, da, da. Sir Royce pulls free of the branches and he stands at the edge of the clearing. Will hisses at him to get down, knowing something is wrong, but Sir Royce laughs at him and commands him to get on his feet. Sir Royce doesn't want his first mission to be a failure, so he sends Will to climb a tree to look for smoke to see if they're hiding.
Okay, fuck this guy though.
Right? You're 18! Well,
Acting like he knows everything when this is like...
It's because he's a knight. And a lord.
A knight and a lord. That means I know better than you.
Better than these
even though you
peasant
have like
criminals.
60 years of experience on me. Fuck you. I know best.
Right. While Will is climbing, he hears Sir Royce call out, "Who's there?" Will freezes and looks around. He sees a white shadow through the trees, but he hopes it's just a reflection on the snow.
It ain't!
Sir Royce nervously calls up to Will. Why is it so cold? Will clings tighter to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
He sees the shadow again, and it moves in front of Sir Royce. Sir Royce's voice cracks as he warns the other to stay back and takes a battle stance. The other raises its sword, which looks like it's alive with moonlight, a crystal so thin it's almost invisible. Whoa. Sir Royce meets him bravely, and Will thinks he is truly a man of the Night's Watch at that moment.
That's like the first time...
Like, respect. Earned.
Mm-hmm.
5 other shadows are silently surrounding Sir Royce, and Will knows he should call out a warning, but he's too afraid. The other and Sir Royce clash swords. The sound of the steel hitting the crystal makes a high-pitched sound like an animal screaming. Yes. I imagine this, and it sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Whoa. Looking around, Will notices more watchers silently standing around. Sir Royce battles bravely, but he is too slow. The other shatters Sir Royce's sword, and hundreds of brittle pieces fly into Sir Royce's face, blinding him.
Jesus fuck.
Right.
I somehow missed that part when I was reading it.
Bro. And as if called, the watchers all move in and slash at screaming Royce.
Uh-huh.
Yep. When Will gathers the courage to look back down again, a long time had passed. The other and the watchers were long gone. Will climbs down and walks up to Sir Royce's corpse. Lying dead, Will can see just how young this kid is.
Only 18.
Only 18. Will grabs what's left of his sword to bring back to Gerald. But when he straightens up, Sir Royce is standing over him. His face is shredded, but one eye is left, and it burns blue. Will drops the sword as Sir Royce wraps his hands around Will's throat.
Bro, what a start.
Right.
So
and that's it.
So let's talk about this prologue.
Uh-huh.
I think the reason that this prologue works really well is because it actually shows a part of the world that characters will be referring to later on, so that the reader knows what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important information that we're getting.
Yep.
It also puts the reader, it gives the reader more knowledge than the characters.
Yeah.
So the reader now knows something that the characters in the book do not know.
Yep.
Which we'll get more into later.
The others.
The others. As a comparison, I think in the inheritance cycle, the prologue shows like the shade Durza capturing
now I remember
the elf Arya, I think her name is.
Yeah, it's
funny.
Arya.
So it shows the moment when Durza captures Arya. However, I would argue that it's a completely unnecessary piece of information because it's something that we find out later on from the perspective of Aragon, which I think would be a lot more mysterious if we didn't already know what had happened. So I think it was included in the book as a hook for the reader, but that's it. It does not add anything to the quality of the story.
Agreed.
Cool.
Cool.
We understand each other.
Wow.
Okay. Also, another thing, they call the whites the others?
Yeah, the White Walkers are the others.
I'm sorry?
I didn't realize until, like, I thought at first, like, they didn't really know it was the White Walker and it was called the others, but I noticed in the other chapters that they
always
called the others.
I was shook.
I guess it isn't as spooky, so it wasn't good for TV.
It's definitely not spooky. And it's been used so many times. The others.
Yeah.
Obviously, back in 96, maybe it wasn't used as much. But by the time they were making the show, back in 96 is when the book was written. But by the time they were making the show, the term the others is just boring.
Yeah. It's true. You gotta sell.
Yeah. So they call them... Do they ever call them the White Walkers in the book?
I have no idea. You know what? I don't remember.
I guess we'll find out. But also just like the undead versions, like what Sir Royce becomes.
The Watchers?
They call them the Watchers?
Yeah. The Watchers.
In the show they call them the Whites.
Oh! The White Walkers and the Whites. And
Yeah.
the others and the Watchers.
Weird.
Aww.
This is so weird.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
interesting.
super fun and interesting to find.
You're like, ooh.
There's already so many differences from the show.
Already.
I mean, not so many. That's like a couple of small details, but this chapter basically plays out mostly the same way.
Basically,
that it
you
does
got
in
the
the
gist
show.
of it.
Yeah. There are some differences, like Will doesn't ever climb a tree in the show.
No.
But everything else is kind of the same.
Kinda.
I mean, Sir Royce doesn't ever touch Will. He doesn't even come back
No.
in the show. It's just the White Walkers that are there.
Yeah. I always never understood in the show that the White Walker letting Will go. To me, that made real sense. He takes off Gerald's... Is it Gerald?
Jared.
Jared's head. And then Jared's head goes flying towards Will's feet.
Ooh,
and then
sorry.
Will falls to his knees. And it's just like, they look at each other and that's it. And the next thing you know, Will is caught as a deserter.
Yeah, in the next chapter.
No.
Yeah, now I'm like...
But we'll get there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm trying to think, did the White Walkers let him escape, or did he just manage to outrun them? That seems strange.
That is unbelievable.
I mean, we know he's a boss-ass bitch, right? Outrun the White Walker. Right, Walker. Okay, shit. Alright, let's move on. Next chapter is also yours.
Bran brings us into this story.
Enter Bran.
Enter Bran.
He introduces us to the Starks.
Yeah. Bran's excited. 20 of them are going to a beheading, and it's the first year his lord father had deemed him old enough to go. The morning air is crisp, making Bran ponder the end of summer, which has lasted 9 years. Bran is 7 years old.
Okay, in the show, the scene after the prologue, Will with the White Walker, does that go straight to them heading to the beheading?
Nope, it
No, it
goes
doesn't.
to them being brothers, him trying to like hit the
okay.
arrows, and we get Arya running out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the show, it moves straight from the prologue into more of like a status quo.
Like, these are the Starks.
Yeah, introducing us to the Starks.
Mm-hmm.
Giving us like a day in the life of a Stark.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And you have Kat playing like a womanly role of, no, he's not old enough.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Sorry, go on.
Are we done?
You're like, please stop interrupting me, for fuck's sake.
Bran's older brother Robb had speculated that a wildling had been caught and had expected someone fierce, but it was an old brother of the Night's Watch waiting for them. Old, meaning it's Gerald.
It's
It's
Jared.
It's Jared.
In the show, it's Will.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's Jared.
See, I read this whole thing thinking it was Will.
No. Will's not old.
Yeah, fuck. I need to pay more attention.
Bro.
I can't trust the show.
You know, I would write things from the show and be like, shit,
That's
the
book.
like calling things that the show calls, and I'm like a book, I'm like, that's not what they're saying it's called.
Yeah, literally. In the first part, I was like, so the White Walkers appear.
Like, nope. Bran is in between Robb and Jon, and he's sitting taller on his pony, so he looks older, which is cute.
But he's only 7. I thought he was 10.
He's 7.
He's 7.
He's a baby. Over their heads is the Stark banner, a grey direwolf racing across an ice-white field.
Also different from the show.
So I included it. Bran's father, who looks older than his 35 years, is questioning the brother.
Ned is only 35? Holy fuck.
He then gives the command. 2 guardsmen drag the brother to the stump while Lord Stark dismounts. His ward, Theon Greyjoy, gives him the great sword Ice, which is taller than Robb.
How the fuck does he give that shit?
Right? I have a little side note. This is the second time Bran compares something to Robb. At first he compares the brother of the Night's Watch to Robb in height. So I'm like, he probably really idolizes his older brother.
Yeah.
Cute.
It is cute. Good observation.
I like this. Yes. Lord Stark says to the old brother, do you want the whole speech? Because I can cut it down to titles.
No, do it.
Because I like it.
Yeah.
In the name of Robert of the House Baratheon, the first of his name, King of the Andals and the Rhoynar, and the first men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm, by the word of Eddard of House Stark, Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North, I do sentence you to die.
Damn.
And he raises the great sword.
Yeah, before that part, so there's a bit of a conversation between the brother and Bran's father, Ned.
Yeah, I just put it as questions, but I didn't put much in there.
Yeah, but it is interesting that basically Bran doesn't really know what's being said between them, so it gives him that, like, childlike perspective.
Yeah.
That we don't really get as much in the show, because in the book we actually get to be in Bran's head instead of just observing from an outside perspective. Of course Bran won't take notice, or he's not gonna understand what's being said. He's not gonna find it interesting.
Oh.
Like, he's a child.
He's just there for the beheading.
Yeah.
And to show how mature and older he is.
Show how mature?
Yeah, because he really wants to appear older than he is.
Oh, yes.
To seem like he's done this before.
Yes.
Which I thought was adorable.
He's trying really hard to be like his brothers.
Bran's bastard brother, Jon, whispers to not look away, father will know. Blood sprays across the snow while the head rolls to Theon, who at 19 finds everything funny and boots the head away, laughing.
Oh my fucking god. Okay. 1, Jon is only 14.
I have that here.
What the ass? 2, there's a lot of names being thrown around.
Yes.
I think for someone who didn't already know the world and the characters, this would be really a lot.
I heard from people who start getting into Game of Thrones at first, they are confused by the amount of people.
Yeah, there's so many people, so many names. You, like, don't know whether someone's talking about a person or a place.
It's true.
Like, not all of them are being explained, too.
No.
Like, some of them get a brief explanation, like Jon Snow, Bran's bastard brother. So now we know who he is.
Yeah.
But there's also stuff like Night's Watch and Targaryen and stuff, which...
You gotta keep reading to get to know these guys.
Exactly. And I'm kind of glad that George isn't really going heavy on the exposition, though.
Yeah.
Because he could be pausing every second in the story to explain what something is, yeah, but instead he's choosing to trust his readers to piece it together over the course of the book.
I like that.
Which is it's a better approach.
Yeah,
I think.
Makes it an easier read.
Yes. And, like, just trust your reader that they'll be fine to be a little confused for a bit. They'll figure it out.
Jon calls him an ass under his breath and he praises Bran. Jon's 14!
Yeah.
As they head back, Robb remarks on the bravery and the courage of the deserter. Jon disagrees and said that there is fear in his eyes. Robb is also 14. Robb is like, whatever, and he challenges Jon to a race to the bridge, and they take off, leaving Bran behind. Lord Stark pulls up beside Bran and asks how he's doing. Bran tells his father what Robb and Jon think of the man. Eddard asks what he thinks, and Bran asks if a man can be both.
Both brave and
scared. Eddard explains that the only time a man can be brave is when he is afraid.
Wise words.
Wise words. Ed, it's Ned.
How is Ned a nickname for Eddard, though?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds better than Ed.
Yeah, true.
Eddard asks Bran if he knows why he did it, and Bran says that wildlings are dangerous. Eddard explains that the man's not a wildling. He's an oathbreaker, more dangerous because they have nothing to lose. He says that he had to do it because the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword. And if you cannot bear to do that, then perhaps the man doesn't deserve to die. More wise words.
Yeah, he sounds... I mean, we knew this already from the show.
Yeah.
In the novel, if you haven't read the show, we're getting the sense that he's a very honorable.
If you haven't read the show.
If you haven't read the show. If you haven't watched the show. or read the book. Yeah, at this point, I think you'd be getting the sense that he's a very honorable,
Very,
wise man.
wise. A good dad.
Yeah.
Jon reappears and calls to their father to come quickly. Robb found something. When Bran and Ed get close, they see Robb standing with something in his arms. Theon and Jory Cassie, the captain of the household guard, get there first and are horrified by something on the ground. Bran jumps off his pony and runs to see what everyone's looking at. He's really excited.
It's like, ooh, drama.
Yep. He finds a huge wolf, bigger than his pony, dead on the ground. Theon calls it a freak, and Jon says it's a dire wolf. Bran looks away from the monster and notices the bundle in Robb's arms. The pup, with its eyes still closed, is nuzzling Robb's chest for milk. It's so cute. But, like, damn, that's a young pup.
Gotta get those nips.
Bran lets out a cry of delight, and he runs over, and Jon puts another pup in his arms. Jon tells them that there are 5 of them. Hollin, the master of horse, does not like the idea of direwolves loose in the realm. Man, I almost said realm. Father asks. Yup.
Well,
so
Bran
he
thinks of him as
starts
father.
change. He thinks of Ed as Lord Stark and as father because he changes faces. He's mentioned before that his father has a different face when he's Lord Stark versus when he's father.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he's becoming more father now. Mm.
Yeah.
Father asks if they know what killed her, and Robb points to something in her throat. His father pulls an antler out, and the men all go silent, afraid, but Bran doesn't understand.
Dude, I didn't get it until this point. I didn't fucking get the significance of finding an antler in the throat of a direwolf. How am I such a fucking idiot?
His father is surprised that she managed to give birth with an antler in her neck, and Jory suggests that she could have already been dead when she gave birth.
Oh my god.
Born with the dead, another man says. Bruh. Hollin says the pups will die soon, and Bran is dismayed. Theon pulls out his sword and says the sooner the better, and tells Bran to give him the puppy.
The papai.
The puppy. His puppy. No, Bran cries, and Robb tells Theon to put away his sword in a commanding voice like their father's. Hollin and his son Harwin try to explain that it will be a mercy, and his father agrees that it will be for the best. No! Bran yells again, and his eyes fill with tears. Robb keeps resisting and says one of their bitches gave birth, and that... I just can't say bitch without making it aggro.
One of their bitches gave birth.
Gave birth and can feed the pups while they argue. Jon pipes up. Lord Stark, there are 5 pups, 3 male, 2 female, just like your true-born children. You were meant to have them. And his father's expression changes. And Bran knows Jon got him.
Got him.
Got him. Bran loves Jon more than anything at that moment.
Aww. You just wanted to save the puppies.
His father asks softly, "You don't want one for yourself?" But Jon replies that he isn't a Stark. Robb assures father that they will look after the pups themselves, and Bran promises that he will. His father makes them swear they will look after the puppies themselves without the help of the servants, and warns that direwolves are dangerous. The boys agree, and they get the pups. Bran is delighted, and they mount their horses and take off to Winterfell. They barely take a few steps when Jon hears something and jumps off his horse. He comes back with a white albino puppy with red eyes, and Bran finds it curious that his puppy's eyes are open while the others are still shut. I find that curious too. This one will die faster than the others, Theon says. Giving Theon a long look, Jon replies, "I think not. This one belongs to me."
Theon's such a dick.
Right?
I just want to bitch slap him.
Right?
Did you spell replies with a Y?
Yep. I did a lot of spelling mistakes here, okay? I don't care. I'm taking notes. I don't care.
Oh, the horror. Yes, holy shit, we're almost at an hour already.
Oh my god.
We've only done 2 chapters.
These are dense fucking chapters. Especially when Stone keeps derailing.
Sorry. This is the point of this podcast, though. to fucking talk about it.
True. You're right.
We're not just doing a play-by-play.
We're at Catelyn now. No?
No, bitch. We're at Daenerys, bitch.
Really? After Bran isn't Catelyn?
Oh, you're right.
You're confused.
My bad, bitch.
Dany is after Catelyn.
You right. It's because I put chapter 3 for Daenerys.
Oh no, it's chapter 4.
No, it is chapter 3. A prologue doesn't count as a chapter.
Well, we're counting it this time. Brit. Yeah, I guess you're right. Catelyn. Cat looks for Ned in the Godswood. She knows to find him there since he always seeks the quiet of the Godswood when he takes a life.
So is it Catelyn or is it Caitlyn? Because it's spelled C-A-T-E.
It's Catelyn.
L-Y-N. That's what they say in the show.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's Catelyn.
How does George say it?
Catelyn. I'm going to call her Cat.
Yeah.
The Godswood is where the weirwood, or the heart tree, is, and that is where the Starks, who have the blood of the first men, worship the nameless gods.
I think there was a good description of the Godswood. See if I can find it. Ooh, yeah, I want to read this.
Okay.
The gods of Winterfell kept a different sort of wood. It was a dark, primal place, 3 acres of old forest, untouched for 10,000 years, as the gloomy castle rose around it. It smelled of moist earth and decay. No redwoods grew here. There was a wood of stubborn sentinel trees armored in gray-green needles, of mighty oaks, of ironwoods as old as the realm itself. Here, thick black trunks crowded close together while twisted branches wove a dense canopy overhead, and misshapen roots rustled beneath the soil. This was a place of deep silence and brooding shadows, and the gods who lived here had no names.
Nice.
How epic is that?
Bruh. Right on. Mm-hmm. The weirwood has blood red leaves and white bark. That's scary. A face is carved into the trunk and its eyes are dyed red with its sap. A little bit spooky.
Yeah. But also, how is the Godswood 3 acres?
Right.
In the book, it's like a tiny little...
It's like a cute little garden.
Hello, Editing Raven here again. I meant to say the show here, not the book.
Yeah.
But this is like, they just took a chunk of forest and wrapped their castle around it.
Yeah.
So that means Winterfell must be fucking enormous.
Yeah. But then later on, doesn't Rob say that King's Landing is like 30 times the size of Winterfell?
Well, I can see King's Landing being fucking enormous in that level.
Yeah, but this just grows Winterfell so much more in my head. now.
Yeah, definitely.
The Godswood itself is 3 acres.
Like, that sounds amazing.
That's crazy.
Anyways, Ned asks about the children, and she says they are arguing over the names of the puppies, and their youngest, Rickon, who is only 3, is nervous around his.
Aww.
So cute. He's so small.
Mm-hmm.
3! They talk about the beheading and are both proud of how well Bran did.
Mm-hmm.
Cat is proud.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because in the show, she was so opposed to it. But here she's like, so encouraging.
Mm.
The man was the 5th deserter that year.
Wow.
Ned remarks how the Night's Watch has been losing men beyond the wall as well, and they speculate if it's the wildlings and the king beyond the wall, Mance Radar.
Mance Raider.
Mance Reader?
Raider.
Ned wonders if he will have to call the Banners and go to war with him.
Oh my.
Ned asks Cat why she came to him in the Godswood, and Cat tells him that John Arryn is dead.
Aaron.
Is it Aaron?
Yes, that's how they say it in the show. John Aaron.
I didn't remember. Ned and Robert Baratheon were wards to John, and he was his second father. As well as brother-in-law, 15 years prior, they both married the Tully sisters.
Mm.
Sisters.
Sisters?
Yeah, sisters. So I guess they were family.
Yeah.
Ned tells Kat to take the kids to the Eyrie so her sister and her son aren't alone in their time of mourning, but Kat says they cannot. The king is coming to Winterfell with his entourage of 100.
Damn.
Ned is excited to see Robert, but Kat heard about the direwolf with the antler in his neck, and it feels like a bad omen. She doesn't say anything.
So, there is a mention of the gods in this chapter.
Of the nameless ones?
Yeah, there's...
Oh, I think it brings up Kat's gods of the 7.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, she she like thinks about the difference between her gods and Ned's gods.
Yeah.
I think. Where does it say?
Should be near the beginning with the gods, but
Yeah. Her gods had names, and their faces were as familiar as the faces of her parents. Worship was a septon with a censer. I don't know what that means. The smell of incense, a 7-sided crystal alive with light, voices raised in song. The Tullys kept a god's wood, as all the great houses did, but it was only a place to walk or read or lie in the sun. Worship was for the sept. The blood of the first men still flowed in the veins of the Starks, and his own gods were the old ones, the nameless, faceless gods of the greenswood they shared with the vanished children of the forest. So we don't get a lot about the gods, but we do get a sense of the differences between Catelyn's 7 gods and then Ned's old gods, which, like, I feel like I already know more about them than I ever learned in the show.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention
Just one
in the show,
page.
but yeah.
I don't think they went deep into the description of the gods.
And I was always really interested in that. They would always be like, oh, the 7 gods, or the old gods. And I'd be like, I don't know what that means.
Oh.
But now I feel like I've already got a better sense of it. So
Nice.
yeah, I do like that. There's also a lot more exposition in this chapter versus the last one.
Exposition.
Yeah, that's like explaining stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the gods. Also the words of the noble houses.
Yeah.
Like how winter is coming. Catelyn finds that kind of weird. Because normally the words of the noble houses are like some fierce, powerful statement.
Yeah.
About the strength of the house or whatever. So it's just like a bit more explanation. We get to know the world a little bit more through Catelyn's eyes, which definitely makes more sense than to do it through Bran's eyes, because Catelyn already knows.
Cat knows.
She's a grown-ass woman. She knows the world. Also, Ned is excited to see Robert in the book, but in the show he is less than thrilled.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder why they made that change.
I wonder too. Like, why?
Yeah. I guess they wanted to up the tension in the show.
I thought it was sweet, and I was like, oh, sullen Ned is excited?
Yeah. It's like, wait, what? I also never knew why Ned had such a distaste for the Lannisters before.
Yeah.
It explains in this chapter that it was because they came late to Robert's cause, which was overthrowing the Mad King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for a long time, they tried to keep out of it.
They came when it was clear that the Mad King was losing.
And that Robert was winning.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, we're here for Robert.
Then they switched teams.
Yeah, exactly. We were hoping to do 5 chapters in this episode, but I talk a lot, so I'm sorry.
Anyways, we're going to pump out a lot of episodes today.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope what I said was at least somewhat interesting.
It was kind of interesting.
Oh, wow, kind of?
A little bit.
Thanks for the bone that you threw me, Jess. I appreciate it. So let's just do a quick, before we end it, let's do a quick summary of like our thoughts on reading George, A Song of Ice and Fire, a Game of Thrones.
My thoughts?
Yeah.
I think it goes even more in depth to the characters' thoughts and feelings. I love the perception of Bran. Everything is so innocent and sweet. Mm-hmm. And I really love reading from Bran. So far, he's my favorite.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
He's so sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I liked learning more about Cat, too, because the characters are pretty different from the show. She's like a stereotype or protective mother and stuff. But in this one, she's very, like, in the book, she's very, like, a kind of honorable woman. Like, she knows her sons are going to be men, and I don't want to give away the next chapters, actually.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about what we think of the characters later on. But yeah, just a quick summary. Dope characterization so far. It's already really clear and really immediate how quickly you get to know who the character is.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're this type of person. Mm-hmm. And they're really relatable. And
it's a person.
Yeah. They feel like real people.
Yeah. They have realistic goals and expectations.
And yeah, we will get more into that in the next couple episodes. Something else I did notice was that pretty short chapters for a fantasy novel.
Yeah, yeah.
I had Mike guess where in the story I was at when I got to chapter 5, and he thought we would already be in King's Landing. I was like, not even close.
We're still in the first episode of the show.
Exactly. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk more about the story and the writing and the characterization in the next couple of episodes. Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of reading A Game of Thrones. We are really enjoying it so far. Hope you do too. And that's it, I guess.
Nice.
So if you want more of the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at TigBadPodcast. You can also follow us individually. My handle is Crimby. Jessica's is Jess.Egan24. You can also find us on Facebook, Tigbad Podcast, or just search Tia's Good Books Are Better, and the page will pop up there. Also, please follow Baram Barami on YouTube. He made our jingle that you heard at the start of this episode, and he makes really dope music. So if you could give him some support, that would be great. We also have a Patreon now, so if you want to support the podcast further, you can contribute on there. You'd be helping us get a second microphone, which we need really badly. And there's also some rewards. You can see behind the scenes content and other exciting stuff like that.
Woo!
Woo! All right, so thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next time for more A Game of Thrones. We're going to talk about Daenerys' chapter.
And maybe Jon?
Maybe. Thanks for listening. Bye.